Good evening and welcome everybody to Sim Experience SA 2022 BMW M2 CS Cup Season 1, mouthful out the way. I'm your commentator Dennis Mitchell and we're coming to you live from Austria, Spielberg in Austria for round 6 of an 8-round championship. Quite a short track. Well, it feels quite short, it's actually 4 kilometers, but it's a pretty simple track, not many corners. This, of course, is round 6 of a 8-round championship, so practice is about to end. Let me just show you the rest of the rounds. So tonight we have round 6 from the Red Bull Ring in Spielberg. Round 7 will be next week from Tor Poznan in Poland. And then our final round will be round 8 from Suzuka West in Japan. So coming out of practice now, our times from practice were very close actually at the front. Let's see if we can just have a look at what the results were for practice. So in practice we had Jason Underwood taking first place from Chris Collison, his teammate, Alwin Rain, Andre Dupinot, the two teams side by side there, Mika Abrams in 5th, Jean-Andre de Toy in 6th, Rian van der Westhuizen in 7th, a solid performance there, Herman in 8th, Ross Human in 9th, and Bjorn Buchner in 10th. Andre Hildebrandt in 11th, Peter Murray in 12th, Harvey Goos 13th, and Marius van Wyk in 14th. Alright, let's get up our information and see what's happening with the drivers as we head out to qualifying with they've just come through a 30-minute practice, official practice, and now head into a 15-minute qualifying session before they have a 30-minute race session. Of course, this round and all the rest of the rounds in our championships are brought to us courtesy of Alwin Automotive Glass and Aluminium. You can head over to www.alwin.co.za if you have any glass requirements, whether it be for bakkies, trailers, cars, anything you need, just give them a shout. Alright, so here we go, heading into qualifying. We already have a blip of a yellow, so someone had obviously just run it slightly wide somewhere. The stewards have also warned the drivers of track limits here. Unfortunately, there are certain corners where you can gain a huge advantage if you go beyond the limits of the track. So drivers have been warned. The stewards will be handing out penalties if the drivers decide to exceed them on a regular basis. So while we're watching the outlaps, let's have a look at our championship standings at the moment. So currently our championship leader is Jason Underwood, 192 points, with Mika Abrams moving up from 4th place to the previous round to 2nd place on 185 points. Timo Smith dropping down from 1st down to 3rd with 175 points. As you see in the background, I believe it was Chris knocking a ball out flying. Or marker. Andre Dupinot in 5th, Herman Nivot moving up to 6th, Andre Hildebrandt moving up to 7th, Peter Geldenes has dropped down to 8th. He missed the previous round and I don't see him here tonight either. I know he did the Samola hill climb today, so I'm not sure if he's just too tired or preoccupied. Stanton Augustus can't make tonight either, so he's also dropped around. Didn't make the previous round, so dropped down to 9th. Ross Human has worked his way up to 10th place. Also missed a few rounds but came back and has been scoring some points. Bjorn Buchner 11th. Sean Webber's dropped down to 12th. Also unfortunately hasn't made a few rounds. Peter Murray up to 13th. Harvey Goos has dropped down to 14th. Marius van Wyk down to 15th. Rian van der Westhuizen 16th. Hilton Dickerson 17th. Hilton of course is in the comments, so hello Hilton. Tony Stander 18th. Basil van Rain 19th. Sean Johnson 20th. And in 21st we have Hilke Verenica, who's not here tonight. Mario Claessens 22nd, Sean Olivier 23rd, and Steven Kasselin in 24th place. Alright, so let's get everything back up on screen and see the moment, Yandere Duppenaar is sitting in provisional pole on 143.536. That's probably about 8 tenths or 7 tenths shy of what we're likely to see as the fastest times. Basil van Rain, of course, now in second place. Although the times in practice might have been exceeding limits, so we'll see now as they're in the official qualifying session, they'll probably be taking their precautions to avoid getting any penalties against them. And Jason goes sixth with that attempt. Getting a little sideways out of the final corner. Of course, we see Mick Abrams now fastest in the first sector by nearly 3 tenths. Beautifully out to the edge of the curb there, that's perfect. As long as your tyres are on the curb and not beyond the curb, the stewards are happy. Our track limits include the curbs, so the white lines and the curbs, as long as your tyres are touching it, the stewards are happy. If you go beyond that, the stewards are not happy. Some corners the stewards will look the other way because it doesn't gain you advantage, but like we see Mika there, getting very wide that particular corner, if you go right off over wide, you can gain quite a lot of time there. I believe this will be provisional pole position, and it is a 42.8, so fantastic final sector as well. So Andre Duppenaar in second place. Will he improve on this lap? He was faster in the first sector, but he's down in the middle sector. How will his final sector fare? And yellow in sector 2, I'm not sure who that's for. He's quickly cleared, so it must have just been off track. And I see several drivers just getting all wrong there. That's Peter Murray in the white BMW. For some reason he's had a problem with his skin. His skin is not loading, his team is not loading at all. So his team and his skin for some reason just didn't show up on his PC, so he's joined in a standard car. Performs the same, it just looks different. So Jason Underwood now up into second place, 4 tenths off Mika Abrams. Andre Duppenaar third. Basil van Rain is now fourth. I'm sure Basil's going to improve. He's been the pace setter on the server, although I'm pretty sure his time had used the maximum limits of the track and beyond. Jean-Andre Dutoy's driver is new with us, doing a solid 6th place at the moment. Andre Hildebrandt, who's been coming strong of late, he's now in 7th. Herman Nivo at 8th. Rian van der Veste is in 9th. I'm sure he's going to go quicker because that's not his fastest time. Bjorn Bruckner is solid 10th place at the moment. As we're watching, Mika is faster in the first sector, slower in the middle, and he doesn't improve. Jason getting a little bit of a drift on there, just enough to keep momentum. A pretty good first sector, only 0.054 down on Mika. Andre Dutoy is now popping into 4th place, so getting past Basil van Rain. And Chris Collison is now down to 6th place. Rian van der Veste has jumped up to 7th, so times are changing quite a lot. Peter Murray is in 11th, Harvey Coase in 12th, Morris and Drake in 13th, and Ross Human in 14th. I hope Ross Human doesn't have any connection issues tonight. I know last week, as soon as it ticked over to qualifying, or was it race? Between race and qualifying, I think he disappeared. So hopefully tonight, no issues for us. Ross has, of course, got some great pace on him. Unfortunately, he hasn't made a few of the rounds. And the ones he has, several of them he's had issues. Still hoping that Stephen Cassian will join us again. We, of course, were promised by him that he would be fighting for the championship, and he did the first round and hasn't been back. So not sure where Stephen is these days. Hopefully we'll see him back soon. Also, Mario Claessens as well has been away for a while. Also miss him and his amazing skin. Several drivers that haven't been here, some that haven't even raced a single race yet in this, that have signed up. Of course, Sean Coggs. Hopefully you'll make it sometime soon. Get to enjoy these. Of course, there will be a season 2, so you'll get a second shot at it. After the 8th round of this, we'll be going to a Porsche Super Cup Series. Between the race and, I think it's between qualifying and the race, or between the race and interviews, there will be a promotional video that you can see if you haven't yet seen it. So you can join us for that if you'd like to join us. That will be a fantastic championship. And after that, we will have season 2 of the BMW Cup. So it'll be 8 new rounds, a completely new championship. So it'll be a different champion crowned from that, and it's 8 different tracks. So slightly different take on the championship. Mika flying at the moment, so Chris is popping up in second now. Just under 2/10 shy of Mika, so pretty close. Andre Duppenaar now 3/10 shy, also having improved. Jason Underwood still 4/10 off. As we see, Andre Hildebrand moving up to 8th place now. And Bjorn Buchner now 9th. Herman is now 10th. Ross Human now 11th. So Mika running slightly wide there. That is something that the stewards would not like. It's beyond the track limits. I think the stewards, if they see a driver regularly doing it sort of 2 or 3 laps in a row doing the same thing, they will realize it's not a mistake and they will take action. But hopefully if it's just a mistake, the drivers correct the next lap and the stewards won't have any quarrels. So 14 drivers tonight. I know we had 15 points, so someone has left us. And a few that haven't yet made it tonight due to other commitments. Unfortunately, one of our top 3 drivers, Timo Smith, is unable to make it tonight. And good evening to Denise in the comments as well as Hilton in the comments. As well as Lynn in the comments. Hello Lynn. Thank you for joining us. With Chris having just set the fastest first sector, let's head on board with him. Let's see how his second sector stacks up. Fastest of all as well. It's extremely close there. So clinging to the final 2 corners. Good exit, staying off the curve. If you get too much curve there, it slows the car down. Fair. Puts him in second place. As we see Herman just losing the rear end. I presume that he's going to end up in the barrier. And he does. The final corner catches another victim. As you see, most of the drivers are actually in the pits at the moment, or not most, quite a few of them. Let's have a look at Ross with that fantastic colour scheme of his livery. only in 8th place, so he's slowly moving his way up the field. John Toy, 6th place at the moment. A solid pace there at the moment as well, only 9/10 off. Getting just enough inside curve where the car starts to sort of bounce and oscillate slightly like that. And that's pretty much perfect for grip. Right, I think Ross is slower in both sectors there, so he's not going to improve. And pulling over, so I guess that's the end of his qualifying. Fingers crossed we see him in the race and he doesn't have a connection issue. Basil from Rain, almost 4/10 up in the first sector. So let's go on board with Basil and see how he fares for the rest of the lap. And challenge for pole position. Average middle sector, so unfortunately it's lost him a bit of time. Running wide as well, so this lap would not count. It's a shame with such a fast first sector. And yet somehow he stuck it on pole, so that lap that stuck him on pole had him taking advantage of track limits, so that the stewards will not be happy with that. You see Bjorn Buchner's worked his way up to 7th place, so slowly improving, getting faster with every lap. And that fantastic Team Gunston livery, getting quite a drift on there. It looks quite spectacular, quite smooth. Will he improve? About a 10th faster, but not enough to make him place. Hammond's still on track, but unfortunately his time is not going to improve. And I think Peter Murray is also on track now. He's unfortunately pitted. So Hammond is the last driver, also going slightly off track limits there. And that was why Peter Murray decided to abandon his lap, because he did not finish it. Alright, so that's the end of qualifying. Let's head over to an ad break. We will be back with you shortly for a 30 minutes awesome race, hopefully. Alright, welcome back everybody. So we have our starting order set. Before we get going, let me just remind you that I am your commentator Dennis Mitchell, your broadcast director Sim Experience SA, and you are watching the 2022 BMW M2 CS Racing Cup Season 1, brought to you proudly by Alwin Automotive Glass. This is round 6 coming to you from Red Bull Ring in Spielberg. We will be going to Tor Poznan in Poland, then off to Suzuka in Japan. That will be our final round. So let's have a look at our starting order after a pretty close and intense qualifying as the drivers chopped and changed. We have Battleman Rain unfortunately taking the lap that shouldn't have put him on pole. Mika Abrams in second place, Chris Collison in third, and Yandre Dupenar in fourth. Jason Underwood in fifth, Jean-Andre Dutoy in sixth, Bjorn Buchner in 7th, and Rian van der Westhuizen in 8th. Ross Human in 9th, Andre Hildebrand in 10th, Herman Leverage in 11th, Peter Murray in 12th, Harvey Kroos in 13th, and Marius van Wijk in 14th place. Banner flying on the top. Thank you again to Alwin for sponsoring this and making it possible. If you have any automotive glass or aluminium requirements, head over to www.alwin.co.za. They are, I believe, the largest manufacturer of glass in South Africa. Automotive glass. I'm not sure why several of the drivers' skins are not showing up. Something has clearly gone wrong with the skins. We're slowly coming around in their formation lap. The final sector now. Turn 1 is quite a sharp turn, at least there's a fair amount of runoff to the left, so if the guys get close to each other they can hopefully avoid each other. Right, drivers now lining up in the grid. As well to Donnie Stunder in the comments. Unfortunately Donnie can't make the race due to an injury. He did at least try, so thank you for trying, Donnie, but hope you feel better soon. Alright, I believe that is the final driver on the grid. So we have our countdown: 5, 4, 3, go! Let's see if you can get the whole shot. It looks like it will be Basil from Mika. Slipping in behind, slipping behind the line. Hopefully we get a clean first corner. Looked like we might have no incidents, which should hopefully be the first of many, that is. And we see Mika and Basil going side to side there. Mika attacking as hard as he can, and we have the 2 4 above racing cars behind as well, of Chris and Jason. Jason, our current championship leader. Mika looking on the outside here, and he cut back. Give a little bit of a love tap to Basil there. And to still get the momentum even after the tap, but Basil will have the inside here. fantastic battle here between them. I think at the writings on the wall, Mika looks like he's got the pace on Basil at the moment. Whether Basil can hang on there and come good, maybe his tyres just aren't warm yet. Tyres do take a lap or two to get going, and some drivers drive better with colder tyres, as we watch with Mika here, looking on the outside here. And very difficult to go. Oh, the two of them going side by side there, trying their luck. Unfortunately, Mika not yielding there. It was in Basil's corner, he should have yielded. And that opens up the race lead to Jason Underwood, the championship leader, with his teammate Chris Collison sitting solid behind him at the moment. So Basil van Rijn is now slotted in 12th place due to that incident. Yonder. Let's see if we can see where Basil is at the moment. So Basil at the moment in 11th place. Let's see if Basil can make his way through the finish, sitting at the pace. Let's see how much of it he can make up. So above racing are first and second at the moment, with Mika Abrams not in the charge at the moment. Fastest first sector now to Mika. Mika might now be aware that he might have a penalty due to that last corner incident, so he might want to push as hard as he can to get as far ahead as he can now. We're in a solid position at the moment in 8th place, right behind Rian van der Westhuizen. And Ron Buchner in solid 6th place at the moment. Ross Human slotting right behind, they're getting a nice exit there. At the inside now of Andre. Ross should have this done to turn, I believe it will be turn 2, might be turn 3. Not sure if they count these sweeps as a corner. Okay, look at Ross, a bit of turn on the brakes. A bit of contact there. Unfortunately, running wire, I'm not sure if that might have been due to the contact. Side by side with Ross again. And we're giving plenty of space to Ross there. Ross taking advantage, sweeping out in his line, taking the fastest line he can. And they might dart up the inside here now. A great battle here. And Ross now up to 8th place. So at the front we still have Jason Underwood from Chris Collinson and Mika Abrams still in 3rd place. Not closing the gap as fast as I thought he might. Andre Duppenau in 4th place at the moment, sitting about 2 seconds shy of Mika Abrams at the moment. So Mika is closing on Chris, but not as fast as I would have thought. Currently he's about 6 or 7 tenths behind. Actually, he's closed it a lot more in the first corner. Nice wide entrance there. Getting the power really nicely there. That was an excellent corner for Mika. Getting it really tight in that corner, getting on the power nice and clean like that's not easy. Car can very easily get sideways and lose traction. So move done. Mika now up to 2nd place. Just giving a bit of a tap there. Can Chris come back? And it was Chris perhaps defending for all he's worth, slowing himself down. We will find out now. So Basil van Rijn slowly coming through the field, currently in 9th place. Very wide there, off track limits of course. That will be noted by the stewards. Just getting a better drive than Mick there, and he could possibly get the move done if he's got the momentum, which I think he does. Rian getting ahead of Bjorn Buchner now, so Rian moving forward. Nice to see Rian also having a good race so far. And behind Bjorn Buchner we see Ross Human still fighting hard there with Andre Hildebrandt as well. And I believe it's Basil van Rijn that's now challenging them, coming through the pack, now into 8th place. I believe that Basil has now got past Ross Human. So Ross and Basil, you can see Ross was 8/10 slower than Basil in the previous lap. That is a big amount. Not sure what happened there. Camera suddenly changed. I thought that was the one driver glitching, but it was a camera change. You see Basil pushing Bjorn there. It's quite an optical illusion, that. In turn 1. That's getting a bit wide on the exit there of turn 2. I think that one can sometimes make a little bit of time, but usually it loses your time. Hopefully they're going to have a good dice to the end. They're getting quite close behind at the moment. I'm not sure if Rossi's maybe starting to struggle a little bit with tyre wear. I would hope not after only 10 minutes into the race. We're only a third of the way done. Unless it's just Bjorn warming up and getting stronger. He has been getting stronger throughout every session, so possibly that is the case. And when you look at the inside here of Ross, Chris Hollison setting the fastest lap of the race on the previous lap of 1:42.583. Also setting the fastest final sector of 22.872 on that lap as well. It was about 5/10 faster in just the final sector alone than Mika. So Chris right over the tail of Mika at the moment, and he definitely was defending for all his worth before, and that's why he was probably so slow. So at the moment it's Mika that's having to defend. Chris doing the perfect team job at the moment. Although he's got the pace to be at the front, sitting the fastest lap of the race, he clearly has the pace to be leading. But he finds himself in third place, playing the support role for Jason at the moment. Giving Mika a real hard time here. Lost out a little bit in the final sector there, and Mika actually pulled out a little bit on him. So Ren van der Vestes are now being passed by Basil van Rijn. Let's see if Basil can drag Rian closer to the rest of the pack. Seems to be quite a few different breakouts of 3 or so cars. Here we have Ross Human, Bjorn Buchmann and Andre Hildebrandt nicely packed together. Looks like Andre might have got a little bit better drive than Bjorn. Will he be able to make the pass? Bjorn covering the inside here. I don't think Andre is going to brave it around the outside here. It's quite a tight corner. It's not where you want to be on the outside. He might cut it back though. He's trying, but I don't think he's got enough momentum. Bjorn's going to cut him off. So these two having a great Dyson while they're having it back and forward here. It's allowing Ross to now pull away slightly. Right, can Andre mount an attack? He's quite close. If he gets good drive out of turn 1, he might be able to. He's not closed in enough, but it's all about the exit here. And a little bit sideways and that's it. You just see Bjorn pulling away now. It's a long straight. You definitely don't want to be making a mistake of that just going into the straight. Well, I call it a straight because it's a curved straight. So Mika Abrams has closed right in on Jason Underwood. So half the race gone. We're into the final 15 minutes. And Mika has closed in on Jason, our championship leader. So these are first and second in the championship. This is now falling back slightly. Very defensive there. Which is now bringing Chris back into play. Not sure if that was intentional, I would assume not. I don't think Jason would throw his own race away to bring his teammate in to possibly help. Really close there on the back of Jason, getting up the inside here, better drive. Looks like they've got about the same amount of speed. mounted challenge. He's got Chris very close behind as well. Jason cut him off on the straights. Let's see if he can make him move into the final corner. He seems to have lots of momentum into the final corner. Perhaps he can carry it and then go down the straight past the pits and make him move into turn 1. Right, let's see, can he carry the momentum? He gets it sideways and then just fires it out of the corner, but he didn't get that right this time. Looks like defending now from Chris. So Mika now giving the same back to Chris as what Jason gave to Mika. We should remember to give a car's width. But they can't complain if they're all doing it. But the stewards would prefer it if the drivers leave a car's width and don't push another car off the track. It's all very well giving the squeeze, but you have to still leave enough room. If a car's alongside you, you can't just push him onto the grass. A little sideways and yet somehow managing to keep momentum up. Momentum here for Chris. Is he going to try? I don't think sticking out the inside here is a good choice. He will lose too much down the straights. And he might have thought the same, because it looks like he backed out of it and just got straight in behind Mika down the straight. Taking a much tighter line there, surprisingly. You could take a more wider, faster line. So we're getting a little bit occupied with the top 3 here. So at the moment we have Jason Underwood in first, Mika Abrams in second, and Chris Collison in third. And in fourth place we have Andre Duppenaar. Fifth place we have Jean-Andre de Toy. In sixth place Buzzer van Rijn. Seventh place Rem van der Westhuizen. Eighth place Ross Human. Ninth place Bjorn Buchner. 10th place Andre Hilbrand. 11th place Herman Nieuwoud. 12th place Peter Murray. And 13th place Harvey Koos. Followed up in 14th place by Maurice van Wyk. Not sure if back markers will come into play at all. At the moment I think it might be close. We have 8 minutes left and Maurice van Wyk is a minute and 16 seconds behind, depending how much he's losing per lap. Roughly 3 seconds a lap. I think it should be fine. I don't think he will get caught. Abrams mounting another challenge on Jason again. So he's broken the attack of Chris once again, and now on the hunt. He's all over the back of Jason at the moment. About as close as you can get. How close that is. Jason running slightly wide there. I think it's allowed Mika just to get in a fraction closer to him. I don't think he got enough out of that. Right, Mika's got the drive here. Can you do anything with it? Not really. Looked like it's kicked it up a gear. Jason managed to keep the momentum, but if Jason takes the normal line, I think Nick is going to dive up the inside here. Looked like there might have been a little bit of contact there, and Jason has been passed by Mika. Drivers seem to be playing quite rough out there today. I guess they're fighting hard for the championship. It's very close at the moment between them. And we see Chris now taking the inside of Jason, and that's quite surprising to see. Maybe Jason is starting to hit a bit of tyre problems, and he's told Chris to go after Mika. I know Chris certainly had the pace. He still has the fastest lap of the race. Let's see if Chris can do anything about Mika. Using as much track as you can get away with there. You can see how loose the car got as he got onto the sausage curb. Right, so we'll have to just watch the gap at the moment. It doesn't look like he's catching Mika, but maybe he'll make it up in different areas. But at the moment, Jason seems to be hanging on to the back of Chris. Slightly wide there. Don't know that he would have lost too much momentum, if any. So Ross Human now catching up to the back of Rian van der Westhuizen. Will Ross be able to finally pick off Rian at the end of the race? He's got 4 minutes left to try. Ross's line is looking nice and neat. Rian looked slightly wide on his entry. Managed to bring it back to the apex though. But Ross has certainly got the speed on him at the moment, catching him nicely here. Just getting a nice turn one there. Getting the apex perfectly. Just touching the sausage curve on the inside is just what you need to do, just to get a little bit extra rotation. Get on the throttle a bit earlier. Basil from Rain has just set the fastest first sector of anybody. Let's find Basil and see how he's doing. So he's behind Andre Dipper now. Getting very wide there. It's the second time we've seen that. Ross looking at the inside of Rian. Is he going to chance it into turn one? He is. Is he going to make the... Oh, he does somehow, but unfortunately Rian's got the drive in him now. That's the problem if you make a move like that, and now you're on the long stretch, you're at the mercy of the momentum and you just can't do anything about it. So after all the hard work he's done making a pass, he's then straight away passed back because of taking a tighter line and losing momentum. Right, final minute of the race. Let's see where our leaders are. Let's see if they're going to actually get another lap, and it looks like Mika will cross the line for another lap. As will Jason behind. Ross looking again at the inside of Rian. Getting a perfect exit there, but I'm not sure if that's the end of the race or not. I believe it is the end of the race for them. So Mika Abrams is still on it. Unfortunately watching Andre there. Andre's race is over. So Mika bringing it home now for another victory. One more corner to go basically. Running wide there. Stewards will definitely be looking at the drivers this round for track limits. And in second place we have Jason Underwood, Chris Collison in third place, Andre Dupinard taking fourth place. Went from the best days and looks like he's going to hold off Ross for seventh place. And for some reason we're seeing Mika pulling over here. It looks like Rian will indeed hold off Ross for a solid 7th place and 8th place for Ross. So at least Ross having a good race this round, not getting kicked out as the race kicks over. Good to see him racing. And having good pace as well. Bjorn Buchner Wonder why we're in slow-mo of him doing a final corner. Alright, Bjorn taking 9th place, so a solid 9th place for Bjorn. Herman took 10th place, Andre took 11th place, Peter Murray took 12th place, Harvey Goos, solid 13th place. Coming across the line. And Morris from Drake took 14th place, but he is already in the pits. Alright, so I'm going to head to an ad break. We will catch you after the ad break with the top 3 drivers if they're available, and find out from them how the race was, what they feel about the stewards and the possibility of track limits, and we will catch you shortly. Welcome back, everyone. Hopefully I'm being heard by everyone now. We are joined in the commentary booth by our top three, Mika Abrams, Jason Underwood and Chris Collison, as well as Ross Hume and Rian van der Westhuizen. I've dragged them in firstly because the other two weren't available, and then they were available, but also because Ross and Rian had such a fantastic dive throughout the race. So I'm going to start with those two. Let's start with you, Ross. Ross, you've had so many troubles throughout this championship. You've had some good races. You've had lots of problems with connections, just all sorts of things happening. Now you've finally had a good race. Yourself and Rian both having a good race. Rian also having lots of trouble throughout the season. So, give it to us from your point of view. How was the race?
Absolutely fantastic. Qualifying was a bit dodgy, seeing the front runners and their times, but I kind of just set myself to run for the middle of the pack, and it is what it is, and ended up having an awesome race with Rian and Andre. And just thoroughly enjoyed the track. Great car on the track, and it was an awesome race.
Great to hear. And yeah, pity Andre isn't here to drag him in as well. Then Rian, yourself as well, having a fantastic race, as Ross alluded to there, between the three of you, Andre, yourself and Ross changing places quite regularly and pretty much glued together through at least half the race. So we saw a lot of that on camera. It was fantastic to watch, especially with turn one with yourself and Ross, when Ross would break late and then you would take the title line, get the momentum down the straight, and then it would happen again the next lap. So how was it from your point of view?
It's a very nice race. In the beginning, I was actually having a few dices with Bjorn, and in turn one, I also took him on the inside, and then I pulled a bit of a gap. Then Ross was there, so very nice to have a dice and a race at least. Good fun.
Yeah, you also had lots of bad luck, so nice to see you actually finally showing some potential and some momentum moving forward in the race. You know, you didn't start in 7th, but you worked your way up to 7th, so it was a strong race from you.
Yeah, it was fun. It was a good evening, clean overtaking and good racing.
All right, then let's head to the top three. I'm going to get rid of the other two in the meantime, if you don't mind. So the top three, we have Mika Abrams, Jason Underwood, and Chris Collison. Some intense battles going on throughout the three of you there. I'm going to guess that there's a bit of team protection from Chris, helping Jason as much as he can as well, playing good teammate there. Lots of argy-bargy between Mika and Jason, and even between Mika and Chris. So we'll get to that in a moment, as well as some track limits as well. A couple of drivers taking track limits, especially in the final sector. That's the second last corner. The guys would run wide there. I saw that a few times. But let's start with Mika. Mika, I see your mic is muted. So,
Yep.
Right. Okay. How's the race from your point of view? In the end, it looked like you had to fight really hard. Jason was defending for all his worth, pushing you off the track as much as you could, keeping you behind him. And then at one point you had to sort of get a bit forceful to make a move, and you managed to make it stick. And then it looked like he might keep up with you, and then at one point fell back, and then he let Chris pass, and Chris started to catch you, and then it ended up with Jason behind you again. So how was the race from your point of view?
Well, first of all, it was really eventful. I had a shambolic start. I went from 2nd to 4th, but thankfully I caught up to Chris pretty fast, and then did the switch back on him, past him. And then I knew that team orders was going to be a big role in the race, and clearly I was right. They threw everything they had at me, but thankfully I prevailed. I got the win. Jason pushed me off a couple of times, which was a bit annoying, then forced him into a mistake. I broke himself, passed him, and then he let Chris pass. Chris spun out, which was just a sigh of relief. And then I don't know what happened. Maybe Jason's tires fell off at the end. But I brought it back home, and yeah, I think it was a good race, and I'm back in the lead of the championship, so that's a good thing.
Yeah, well done on that then.
Thank you.
And well done on a great race. And Jason, then from your point of view, quite a tough race, but looked like a very eventful race. You didn't seem to have the pace that Chris had. Chris seemed to have a bit more pace, but Chris seemed to be struggling maybe with a bit of tire wear at the end, maybe a bit more aggressive to get the pace out for the lap, and it just didn't last. But you just didn't seem to have a little bit extra when Mika got past you to catch him. I was thinking maybe you were sort of hanging back a little bit, managing your tires, but you just didn't seem to have it. And of course, you did everything in your power to keep him behind you, but he somehow got past. So how was it from your point of view?
Yeah, lovely race, I think. The less I say now, the better. But yeah, well done to everybody, and looking forward to the next round.
All right, well, congratulations on your second place. Then Chris, a solid third place from you as well, and a great defense from your point, with Mika holding Mika back as much as you could in the early stages. But unfortunately, it wasn't enough. He got past, and then you tried to have a second crack at it, but also that just wasn't enough. So how was the race from your point of view? You set the fastest lap of the race as well by about 3/10 over Mika's fastest lap. So you certainly had the pace, but you just didn't seem to have the consistency to do anything with it.
Yeah, it was a good race. Very happy about fastest lap. I don't always get them. Normally consistency is my thing. It was a good race for about 3/4 of it with the three of us up there. Positions were changing. It was tough. Yeah, basically I made a mistake towards the end, which was a shame. I went into a corner a little bit blind because the other two were just in front of me, dropped a gear too many, spun me round, and instead of fighting for the front, I was just about holding Jandre off for third. So pretty glad to get the third in the end. Congratulations to Mika and Jason. Good races as usual. Very, very tough competitors. Well done, everybody. And yeah, on to next week. And just to be clear, there are no team orders in 4 above.
Okay.
Jason is my rival every bit as much as he is my teammate. So, yeah, that doesn't happen. But yeah, enjoyed it thoroughly. And thanks ever so much, Dennis, for everything you do.
All right, brilliant race. And then just to wrap up, Mika, you are currently the championship leader. You are on 235 points. Jason, you're on 232 points, so a 3-point difference between you. And Chris, you're now back up into third place on 205 points. So Jandre has now dropped down to fourth place. And Timo has now dropped down to fifth place, not being able to make it today. So some close racing tonight, and the championship is getting even closer at the front. So 3 points in it, 2 rounds to go. I guess it's anyone's game at this point. But between either three of you, I think you're all capable of winning it now, but it looks like it's most likely going to be between Jason and Mika. But Chris, you've still got the potential of winning it with the maximum points available of 51 around. I mean, potentially it could be others, but yeah, most likely to be one of the three of you. So it's going to be an exciting round going into Tor Poznan. Tor Poznan is also quite an interesting track, especially the first turn where quite a long late apex puts a lot of wear on the outside tires. So that I think is also going to come into play, tire wear at the end of the race there. Very fast, sort of nice track as well, flowing track, kind of reminds me of Bruno. So I think that'll make for some good racing. I know with the MX5 races, that particular track made for some exciting racing. Lots of passing opportunities here. This particular track was very difficult to pass, as we saw with some of the other guys. Some of the places where you make a pass, for example, into turn 1, you can make a pass there, but then you actually lose out down the straight if you do. So you're actually better off backing off, trying to get him down at the end of the straight, of the second straight. So we'll see with Tor Poznan how the racing goes between you guys, but I'm pretty sure it's going to be just as close with all of you, and maybe we'll have a few more guys fighting you there. But congratulations again to all of you. I am going to say goodbye to everyone now, and we will catch you all at the next round, which will be Tor Poznan in Poland, which will be next week, and we will catch you all then. So thank you all for joining us. If you enjoyed watching this, please remember to like and subscribe, and we'll catch you all next week for round 7 of season 1 of the BMW 2022. Oh, I got that all wrong. I have. 2022 BMW M2 CS Cup season 1. So we'll catch you all next week. And thank you once again to Alwin for making everything possible.